Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some short-term and mid-term analysis to do today. We also need to discuss some of the unconfirmed breakouts on the RSI. I understand this chart looks messy, but I'm going to explain it all in this video. I don't expect this video to be too long. There's really not much to discuss. I've got some good news for you overall, and that's what I'm going to be displaying on the charts here. But unfortunately, just like my vibe has been for the last 5.5 months, we're just not out of the woods yet. Like, we're just not clear. We're not in the clear for altcoin buying, certainly not altcoin buying. Bitcoin dominance is skyrocketing. And I don't even think we're really in the clear for excessive Bitcoin buying, considering the confirmations have not been seen. But my overall case is that the confirmations could be seen very shortly, within 2 days, if we see a good weekly candle close. So good stuff all around, strong price action. We'll discuss all this today. Right. Crypto exchanges, you might want one, you might need one. In fact, you will need one if you're going to be in the cryptocurrency market. You need somewhere to buy and sell. That's why I've got BitTuneX and BingX. BitTuneX has never been hacked before. BingX was hacked actually today, which is a weird thing to mention in an advertisement, but it was its first hack in entire history. Very small hack, and all the funds were redistributed based on the reserves they have. So that's actually a good sign. They had reserves and they paid back all the people who lost money from that reserve pool. But these exchanges are global non-KYC. There's 15% trading fee discounts with my referral link down below. Both of them historically have very good track records. Both of them I use personally. I have money on both these exchanges and I use them pretty regularly. And with my referral link down below, again, you'll get a 15% trading fee discount, as well as some sign-up bonuses, which I'll highlight on the screen right now on BitTuneX, and there it is on BingX. So check out those exchanges and let's get into the content. Right, weekly chart, we'll start off with it. We've discussed this so many times at this point, but I just need to recap it with you. The weekly chart yellow lines, the yellow lines you see on the screen here, are all of my support lines that I deem to be critical for the foundations of this macro structure, as well as the descending channel in white itself. As long as all these lines are held, right, or holding, there's really no threat from a macro scale. Macro looks good when these lines are holding, simple as that. If they all break, there's no reason at all on God's green earth to be holding Bitcoin, because that's a breakdown from all the macro structures, representing not only a breakdown from the charts, but also a breakdown from all of the cyclical structures which underpin the bullish sentiment for what we're seeing right now. If there's no cyclical structures that are bullish, this thing falls apart. And if there's no actual TA structures that are bullish, this thing, again, falls apart. So these yellow lines, this channel itself, the support lines on the bottom here, stemming all the way down to 47, are going to be very, very important to hold. And they are very well and truly holding right now. We've actually seen very good signs off of them. We bounced off them last right here a couple of weeks ago. And on that bounce, excuse the messy chart, I'm going to explain it all. We had a higher low being formed, right? The first low being here at 48. Second low being here at 52. Bullish divergence on the daily chart RSI. You can see that dashed yellow line right there. Very good signs all around the board. And we've bounced upwards from that. We've seen a move to the upside now on medium term, which I'll discuss more in a second. There's a lot to discuss there in terms of where we are right now at 63K. A new resistance zone right there. But the good thing about the weekly chart is this bounce upwards from the bottom of those macro support zones has led to a breakout, an unconfirmed breakout, because we haven't seen the weekly candle close, but nevertheless a breakout on the weekly chart RSI, which is seeing a descending wedge formation. Now, if we see the weekly candle close above that descending wedge formation on the weekly chart RSI, that will be yet another reason to be bullish on Bitcoin. That would not be the ultimate confirmation, because the ultimate confirmation, right, the complete confirmation of the move to the upside will of course be a break of the overall channel formation, which is the price structure, but it will be very indicative of an overall break to the upside coming soon. Okay, weekly chart RSI structures are very, very important. We've seen many of them in the past. I'm going to draw out a couple just so you can see them on the screen here right now with these pink lines. Draw out a couple of them right here. In fact, we'll draw out 3. Okay, one of them, after we broke it to the upside, led to the end of the COVID drop and the start of a 2021 bull market. One of them led to the end of the 2022 bear market and the start of the bull run. Okay, or let's just say the opening phases of the bull run, and one of them led to the end of 7 months of consolidation and led to our move up to all-time highs of 73K on Bitcoin. So these weekly chart resistance zones on the RSI are very, very important. And the fact that we're hovering above that level right now, threatening to close above it, is a very, very good sign. Right, so in 2 days and 14 hours, we will check back with the weekly chart RSI. And if we have closed above that, that's great news. That would be very, very good for Bitcoin. And I would expect Bitcoin to continue to be upside from there if that is the case. But overall, I am bullish on Bitcoin right now. Short term, I'm actually not.
I do think we face some tough resistance here. It's a very messy chart again. Let me explain it to you. Okay, so we've got a pink zone here, a solid pink line, which represents 64K. Let's just say 64K. You can see that's a volume spike on the volume profile. And if we breach above 64K, we'll go right down to 65. But the overall resistance is stemming from 64 to 65. If we get above those two levels, we will flip those levels for support and we'll have a base to move to the upside from. That may have just sounded like gibberish, but the point I'm trying to make is that Bitcoin has moved upwards, but it's moved upwards right into a fresh resistance zone. That pink level right there with a ascending wedge formation forming. You can see it better on the hourly chart with a bearish divergence on the hourly chart RSI right there. Lower highs on the hourly chart RSI with higher highs, as you can see on the price chart. So a bit of exhaustion showing here on the short term. But as for the medium term, it's just excellent news. And as for the long term, again, long term is obviously bullish because we're in a bullish macro structure in the long term. Medium term is obviously looking good because we have the higher low being formed with a bounce upwards, and now we're testing resistance. We can very well retrace downwards a little bit, come back, flip that bull market support band, and then head up. There's no problem in doing that. So medium term looks good as well. It's just the immediate short term that I'd be a little bit concerned about. This would not be a place where I personally would be interested in longing or buying at all, really. I would be definitely waiting for 65 to break before even considering that. And at that point, you know, the top of the channel is only at 68. So you have to really weigh up, well, do you want to buy at 65 or would you rather wait for another 5% move to the upside and get the extra macro clarity? For me personally, I'd probably be waiting. But, you know, not everyone has the same risk tolerance, I suppose. Everyone's got different personal situations. It's really up to you. You've got to weigh those scenarios in your head. But right now, what I will say is that if Bitcoin makes it above 65, that would, in my view, entail Bitcoin closing above the weekly chart RSI level. It would entail Bitcoin closing above even the daily chart RSI level in solid yellow, as you can see. And it would entail Bitcoin flipping the level of resistance in the volume profile, as well as flipping things like the bull market support band, as well as flipping things like the 200 SMA and 50 SMA. I know I'm skimming through things very quickly here, but it's just because I've discussed all these things before. So I don't want to bore the people who watch these videos too regularly, but if you're new to the channel, you should be able to keep up. Just go rewind if you're maybe having a hard time. The point I'm trying to make fundamentally, and the conclusion is all that really matters, is that Bitcoin is looking great at the moment from a long-term perspective, okay? It's not like, you know, it's not like I'm saying sit here and buy everything right now, because that's not what you do, right? You still need to wait for macro confirmations, and that would take place in a break of the channel itself. But it is looking good. Medium term looks good as well. There are very promising signs in the medium term. Immediate short term, probably a little bit dodgy in my opinion. You know, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we get a nice little pullback here, but that would not be unhealthy from a medium term or long term perspective. As for buying, as I've said, personally not interested in buying while this wedge is intact, while this channel is intact. When these things break to the upside, that's when I'll be interested in buying. And that's for Bitcoin. As for altcoins, I'm not interested in buying until altcoins start outperforming Bitcoin. There's just no reason to buy altcoins when Bitcoin's outperforming altcoins. If Bitcoin is on a generalized scale giving you better returns in the altcoin market, why would you buy altcoins, right? Bitcoin dominance is still in a vicious upwards trend. In fact, in the last couple of days, right, even in the last week, we moved upwards on Bitcoin dominance from 56 to 58%, right, all the way up to 59% almost. So Bitcoin dominance is still rising. Bitcoin is still the dominant force in the market. Bitcoin is still outperforming altcoins on a generalized basis. And until that flips around, right, until altcoins start outperforming Bitcoin, there's just no reason to take the risk with the altcoin market. It's simply not necessary. S&P 500 looking good, just broke all-time highs. Yes, there are some bearish divergences forming, for example, on the daily chart, but this is nothing we've never seen before in the S&P. The S&P is ridiculously prone to bearish divergences, and they never really mean much. The thing with the S&P 500 in traditional markets is it's incredibly manipulated. Not manipulated in the traditional sense, but manipulated in the fact that money supply and things like that affect it a lot. If you look at the S&P 500 chart adjusted for the M2 money supply, in fact, I think I have it saved. I'll just show you quickly. What you'll see is that it's an absolute joke, really. Right, so here it is on the weekly chart. And as you can see, when it loads up, adjusted for the money supply, the S&P 500 reached its all-time high in 2000. Okay, so it's only really money printing that's kept the S&P 500 moving upwards from a price perspective, because adjusted for the money supply, it was stagnant for about 20 years, right? 23 years pretty much. We've seen a break to the upside now. That's a good sign. That's actual value increasing there. But yeah, I mean, it just goes to show the S&P 500 can remain irrational for a very, very long time in terms of things like bullish divergences, bearish divergences. They really don't mean much on the S&P 500. But I think I'll wrap it up there, guys. I think we got through a lot. Again, we're just looking for those weekly candle closes. Still looking for the long-term macro confirmation. We are macro bullish simply because we're in a macro structure that is bullish, but we have not actually confirmed the next leg yet. So again, I don't think it's time for buying necessarily. I think there is still a little bit of waiting to go here. But if we see a good weekly candle, we can get a lot more hopeful, a lot more bullish about this market right now, which is still kind of in the woods. Right, it's still not in the clear yet, unfortunately, but there are very good signs forming here. So that's good to see, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Again, check out those exchanges, Bitunix and BingX, 15% trading fee discounts with my referral links down below. Check out my VIP group on Telegram if you are interested in doing that. I have 4 trading signals that I post every single week. I've been running that group for 2 years, and we have a 78.3% win ratio on VIP. All of the track record, every single win, every single loss is publicly viewable on that PDF document listed right there. We also have a group chat available with the VIP membership. It comes with it, so all in one. Check that out if you're interested. And then the final thing I'll mention is the Become a Trader 10-unit course, which is on sale right now. So if you want to learn how to trade right through our educational course that I created with my fellow YouTuber and analyst, Megawell Crypto, we work together pretty closely, okay? We developed this course in 2022. If you read the blurb, you can see it right there. And you can check out all the information, including our email address, which you can ask any questions and request payment information from. So guys, if you're interested in that, it's on sale. Matter of fact, I'll check out one more thing quickly. That is my second YouTube channel, JS Quinn. If you're interested in podcast content, philosophy, history, maybe even a bit of politics, it's all in there. So check that out if you're interested. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. I'll catch you tomorrow.